Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Tim Box, Mind Coach, and in this video I'm going to be looking at what we can learn about anxiety from the Incredible Hulk. Okay, so now I know what you're thinking, but Tim, isn't the Hulk all about anger rather than anxiety?
I'm so confused. These are confusing times.
Well, hang on, bear with me. I'm going somewhere with this. But first, some background. When I was a kid, I was both fascinated and terrified by the Hulk. The idea of a man tortured by the presence of a monstrous side of himself that threatened to emerge any moment and ruin his life and the lives of others was just so intriguing to me. My introduction to the character came through the old 70s TV show starring Bill Bixby as David Banner and Lou Ferrigno as his alter ego, the Hulk. Back in the days when the special effects consisted of painting a muscly guy green and filming him from below in slow motion to suggest he was bigger than he actually was. And all things considered, this was a pretty dark show. Banner lived a reclusive and fairly depressive existence, wandering from town to town, searching for a cure and unable to settle down or forge any real connections with anyone. I remember finding his plight quite disturbing in my youth. For a superhero, he seemed genuinely melancholic and hopeless, especially the way he ended every episode on the now iconic theme played on a single piano as we watched the lonely and tortured man walking out of town to continue his journey of isolation and exile. I was about 8 when I was watching this, so I wasn't really looking for any deeper meaning in the narrative and perhaps didn't understand exactly why the story touched me. At the time, I was a bit more focused on the fact that the Hulk scared the shit out of me. It was only when I started watching the more recent portrayal of the Hulk in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that I started to think a little bit more deeply about the character. In this version, Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner, while similarly driven into exile like in the 70s show, sees the Hulk as an entirely separate entity from him.
We're not your enemies, Banner. Try to think!
Constantly referring to him as the other guy.
I put a bullet in my mouth and the other guy spit it out.
Not only is the Hulk regarded as the disease, but also the enemy that he's seeking to one day defeat and ultimately evict from his body. I started to see the struggle in the same way people often see their own monsters. And when I say monsters, I mean their emotional or psychological demons. In particular, I began to realise that Banner's attitude almost directly compares to how most people view anxiety. People often view their anxiety as the part of them they are seeking to get rid of. It's the side of themselves that they regard as the enemy or the tormentor. They often hate that part of themselves and seek to get rid of it completely, seeing it almost as an unwelcome intruder in their mind and body, the part of them whose presence indicates they bear the burden of illness. In these situations, we often ignore the fact that anxiety helps us out every day, in the same way that fear moves us away from danger and anger moves us towards righting whatever wrong has been done to us. Anxiety plays its part in our journey, simply by focusing our mind on the important things in life. It's anxiety that draws our focus to the most emergent task or situation at any given time. It's the tool by which our subconscious gets the attention of our conscious. Without anxiety, we'd be unable to regard certain things as more important than others and very probably get nothing done. It's one of our emotions, and to be without it would leave us one short of the full set, and that really would be a problem. It's the treating it as an antagonistic part of us that causes the conflict. In many ways, this is comparable to the Hulk's character in the Marvel movies. Take Infinity War, for example. And if you're not as big an MCU nerd as me, then I'll briefly give you the plot. In Infinity War, the Avengers have to attempt to stop the big bad purple dude Thanos from collecting the Infinity Stones and snapping half the population of the universe out of existence. However, for almost the entire film, Banner remains unable to transform into the Hulk.
Dude embarrassed me from the wizards.
Even in those instances when his strength is most needed. Having been pretty much beaten up by Thanos at the start of the film, we assume this is because Hulk has become too scared to emerge and face him. But the directors confirmed a much different story. He didn't appear because he was tired of being called on to save Banner and then to get treated as the antagonist in his story. He was tired of being viewed as the bad guy. Hulk is constantly vilified and then asked to step up and be the hero, just like the way we view anxiety as an entirely malevolent and unhelpful response, when in fact it's a vital and valuable colour in our emotional palette. So how does Banner ultimately resolve this problem? He embraces that side of himself. Early on in Avengers Endgame, the next film in the series, we find Banner and Hulk now not just existing alongside each other, but morphed into a single entity and finally at peace. Banner stops regarding Hulk as his illness or his curse and starts to appreciate that side of himself and recognize its value.
For years, I've been treating the Hulk like he's some kind of disease, something to get rid of.
Similarly, when we stop trying to get rid of anxiety and let go of the idea that a part of our mind is trying to destroy us or ruin our life, then we'll find it much easier to calm that response and be at peace, ultimately gaining control of any anxiety we might feel. In Endgame, Banner isn't angry anymore, he's back in control.
And now look at me. Best of both worlds.
The fact is that if we don't want to end up like the version of Banner from the old 70s show, isolated and fearful of the next time we feel the monster rearing its head, then maybe we need to accept its presence, not as a separate entity, but as a vital part of who we are. Then, just maybe, we get to realise that anxiety isn't actually the monster we thought it was. Yes, it can be scary at times, but we're only really fearing what we don't understand, and what as a result we think shouldn't be there. When we accept that feeling anxious doesn't mean we're broken, it means we're alive, then we very quickly start to feel back in control. We realise there is no monster wrestling for control of our mind and body, and we get to truly become the hero of our story. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content just like this. I'm Tim Box, Mind Coach. Always remember to be kind to your mind, and I'll see you next time.